What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing all right. My name is Kieran. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I like to help people using a spiritual perspective. So guys, I am sorry that I haven't been posting videos as much as I would like to. I hope that hasn't affected you too much. I'm sure most of you have forgotten that I exist, but I am here. I am alive. My heart is still vaguely pumping blood through my body. And also apparently screwing up the way in which I pronounce words, which is equally as fun. So, in any case, guys, today I wanted to talk to you about something pretty important, an idea that somehow seems to have been forgotten for thousands and thousands of years, but in any case, I'd like to talk about it. I'd like to talk about the fact that there is nothing wrong with you. Now that may come as a shock to you, somebody who has been told again and again and again that there is actually something wrong with me, that maybe you are too fat, too ugly, too bald, your nose is too big, your teeth are too this, your eyes are too that, you're too like this, you're too like that, you don't do this and you don't do that, and you're not perfect and you can't do this, and you had trouble with this, and you don't have this person and you used to have that person, and so on and so on. And yet what all this does, of course, is lead us to some conclusion from the early ages of infancy to now, whatever age you are, that there is something wrong with you. And that in order to fix what's wrong with you, you need to change. You need to become something else. You need to stop being this person. You need to stop being this experience, and you need to be another experience. You need to be different than the way you are currently existing upon your trajectory in life to the ends of your time on this planet, right? This idea that there is something wrong with us. What this translates to, specifically on a spiritual journey, is that we feel we must heal. We must heal and heal and heal and heal and heal as if we were Jesus Christ himself, healing, just healing and healing, a never-ending journey until you die, and maybe then you'll be fully healed. But what seems to happen is that when we think there's something wrong with us, we set out upon a path to heal. It's a noble pursuit, maybe even a good one, and yet it's often very misguided because you find one thing to heal, you're going to find 9 other things. Once you've accomplished those 10 things of healing, there's going to be another 10 things. And not because growth is wrong or because getting rid of negative emotions or actually healing through things is misguided, but because the premise of the thought, I need to fix myself, is predicated on the idea that there's something intrinsically wrong with you, that your inherent goodness somehow is actually in question. And so if you're watching this video and you struggle with something, we can take any random example. Let's say, what's something that we often think is wrong with us? Let's take an easy one. We are too pessimistic, right? It's pretty easy. I think I've experienced that in my life. Too negative, too willing to look at the negative sides of things, right? And we look at that characteristic if we're aware, which we often are in this journey, and we look at that in ourselves and we say, oh, I'm such a piece of shit for always being so negative. Why am I so negative? Why am I so pessimistic? What the heck is wrong with me? What's wrong with what I'm doing? Why am I like this? And you said about healing it. Well, I'm pessimistic because my parents, because this happened. So let me go heal my mother wound. Let me go heal my father wound. Let me heal how I feel about myself. Let me change this part of myself. Let me get a new haircut. All of these things in which we do or don't do in order to help us feel more positive, in order to change, in order to fix ourselves. And that's just one example. Usually we come up with 19, 20 different things that are actually wrong with us, and we all try to fix these things, right? And we go, again, down these healing journeys, these things that we feel we must do in order to become this better version of ourselves, to fix ourselves. But I'm here to tell you that you can't fix yourself. Not in the perspective that I'm sharing with you right now, because there's nothing wrong with you. What is wrong with you, if we're going to use these phrasing of words, is the story that you buy into that tells you that there's something wrong with you. See, it's not that you're pessimistic. It's that you believe you're pessimistic, thus fulfilling the prophecy of your pessimism. Being negative is a choice based upon conditioning. It's what you're used to. If you had the real choice from a blank slate to choose between being pessimistic or optimistic, I think you would choose optimistic. The only reason that we don't, or we're not able to choose optimism as a new route in our life, or route for the layman, is because we believe we're not that way. We believe we're negative. We repeat that story to ourselves over and over and over again. Taking a different example into light here, let's say that you struggle with something that I've struggled with for at least a couple years until recently, really, marijuana. Right? Used to be a very fun drug, $20 cheap vacation to Sky Palace in the sky, and I'd get to live out the wildest fantasies of Kanye West and 808s and listening to music like I've never listened to it before, and eating junk food because goddamn I was high. Until eventually it devolved into something quite perilous and shameful. But it was hard for me to get over it because I kept repeating the story in my head. I have an addiction to marijuana. I have a problem with marijuana. Why can't I get over marijuana? What's wrong with me? Why can't I stop smoking? Why do I still need marijuana? Why do I hold on? Wisdom came and went. Logical answers were certainly present. Overthinking was there. All of it was just prevailing around my head to some degree. Some of it very wise. Oh, by the way, Kieran, you are still addicted to marijuana because of what it used to do for you, which it doesn't do for you anymore. So it's a codependency. Oh, thank you, higher self. What divine wisdom my brain has bestowed upon me. My soul, I guess, in this case. And then logically, of course, you can look at genetics, you can look at escapism, you can look at the fact that I'm sad, or my emotions, logically. Oh, well, I have negative emotions, I want to escape them. Done. Logical answer. And yet all the wisdom and knowledge did not prevail any drastic change in my life. Not at all. Because I realized that I kept trying to fix something that wasn't really there. Because when we say that there's something wrong with us, that we must fix something, we need to understand that that idea, that belief, is not coming from the soul. It's not coming from who you really are. And if you are considering yourself to be on a spiritual awakening journey, you consider yourself to have some sort of spiritual awareness, you must understand that who you are is not your thoughts, nor your emotions, nor your physical body, right? It's something that always is the same. It's never changing. And you can access this through, well, you can access it through, I'm sure, many ways. Some people take high sort of vibrational spiritual medicines, ayahuasca, for instance, just one of them. But you can also simply, without having to go to a retreat in Costa Rica, understand it and experience it through basic meditation. You become aware of your awareness, mindfulness even. You realize that you're not these thoughts that are protruding, right? And that these are the same thoughts, yet that are giving you this idea that there's something wrong with you. So your thoughts are thinking, they're making a judgment about you, about yourself. You're making a judgment. I made the judgment and said, I have a problem with marijuana. I need to change my relationship with marijuana. I need to get better. I need to fix myself. I need to stop escaping. I need to do this. It's quite a lot of pressure, I'll be honest with you, especially for somebody who's just so undisciplined like myself. I just can't do it. And I couldn't do it. No matter how much I tried, I was beside myself with shame and anger that the fact I couldn't get over something so simple when I quit cocaine in an instant. I quit cocaine in an instant. Now, cocaine, certainly a heavier, emotionally heavier drug than marijuana. So maybe it was easier from that perspective, but the energy was the same. The energy was, when I quit cocaine when I was 23, the energy was, I'm done with this shit. That's not who I am. I stopped selling myself the story that I had an addiction to cocaine. All the other stuff didn't matter. That was the energy. I stopped selling myself the story. I kept buying it over and over and over again until I just was like, you know what? I've read this book. I don't want to read it anymore. Same thing happened with marijuana, and the same thing is happening with other things in my life. Right? That's why I haven't been doing so many videos recently, is because I've taken the time to sort of understand this, because I've spent the last couple of weeks plowing my brain for soil, and really I was just hitting a fucking shovel against a brick wall trying to fix myself, but I was unable to, because there's nothing wrong with me. We often feel guilty because we're doing something that somewhere inside of us we know is not good for us. But that, while that's a nice, wise awareness to have about yourself, you certainly should have it. If it was not for the fact of guilt, we wouldn't be able to prove our own innocence. If you were not guilty, in other words, you would not really be an innocent being, right? If there wasn't something to feel guilty for. I mean, so that means that if you feel guilty, you're inherently innocent. There's an innocence about you that has always been there. Because how could you experience guilt otherwise? If you were a guilty being experiencing guilt, that would cancel itself out. That's basically how that would work, right? I mean, there's people who don't feel shame about things, so they don't experience shame. I mean, you see that with human beings. You're an innocent being. Take a moment away from your name and your history on this planet so far, up until this very moment where you're watching some pasty white guy talk to you in a Star Wars sweater that's slightly too small for him. Right at this moment, you need to understand that there's nothing wrong with you. You're an innocent being inherently. You have no flaws to speak of. Your personality, maybe, human body, certainly, we all have flaws. I mean, men have testicles. That's a flaw. I mean, even the smallest hit to your testicles as a man, you're pretty much done for the night. So there's tons of flaws and tons of things to worry about as a human. Personality, but that comes along with the humanness, right? But as a being, as an essence, there's nothing wrong with you. So I'm here to tell you that if you want to change, if you want to understand the guidance that you do understand already, that is already within you, then you need to stop selling yourself the story. You need to stop buying into it. Stop rereading the same copy of Catcher in the Rye over and over and over and over again. Eventually, you'll understand that Holden Caulfield is just a selfish little teenager. He doesn't know that much. I don't know if you guys have read Catcher in the Rye. It's one of my favorite books, but it becomes less and less relatable as I get older. When I was 16, 17 and I read it for the first time, I thought, yeah, Holden, you stick it to the man. Those adults don't know what they're talking about. And then you get older and you realize, oh, Holden Caulfield, kind of ignorant, kind of arrogant, doesn't really know what he's talking about. Anyway, I won't get into the books. This isn't a book club. This is just to tell you guys that if you keep reading and repeating that same story, you have X wrong with you and you need to do Y. You're never going to get to the bottom of it. Or that you might, but it'll take a long time. So I'm trying to give you guys a very practical way of dealing with all the things inside of your head in the most efficient way possible. And it essentially comes down to stop giving a shit about your story. Stop it. Stop caring. Nobody cares as much as you, so you may as well just stop it. Stop giving a shit. Maybe you have a problem with food, right? Maybe that's your reality at this current moment. I can't stop eating chocolate. God damn it, it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm eating a king-size Twix bar. Who's going to stop me? Nobody's going to stop you. Not until you're dead. But, you have this problem with chocolate or food or whatever, and you can't stop eating it. It's because you keep telling yourself that that's your problem. Once you decide that you don't have a problem with this shit anymore, and you'll feel that, you won't. See, it's important how you feel. More than what you know, and more than what you think. It's important how you feel. If you feel like you're done with something, you're done with it. All the logic and wisdom is just like cherries on top of the souffle or the ice cream or whatever. The goal is to stop believing in a story that you're telling yourself, and you can do that at any time. Trust me, you really, really can. Yeah, maybe it takes a few swings of the pendulum to get you to the point of inner balance, but you can eventually realize that you don't need to suffer anymore. You can stop telling yourself that you suck, that you did this wrong, that there's this wrong with you, because you're only looking at yourself with a mirror unjustly that's shaded in and dirty, and you're just thinking to yourself, I'm such a piece of shit, but really you're just looking at yourself with dirty glasses or a dirty mirror. Just clean the mirror, clean the glasses, and you'll see that you're fine the way you are. You can see. If you've ever struggled with vision or anything, you'll know that, things look blurry and you're like, oh, this isn't very right, and you have a problem. Your reality has a problem. You can't see. Then you put in your contacts, you put some glasses, or maybe you get LASIK eye surgery, and you think, oh shit, everything's so much clearer. I can see again. You didn't have to really change anything about yourself. You just needed to get new glasses. It's the same idea, metaphorically, about your own inner process. If you stop seeing yourself and treating yourself in the same way that you have been for the rest of your life, or before, right? It'll all change in an instant. You don't need to do that to yourself anymore. You don't need to believe the story that has been instilled and conditioned into you. please, I beg of you, for your own sake of self-worth and love and happiness, stop telling yourself. Start with one small thing, and once you accept that that thing is no longer part of your reality, because you should start small, it's easier, the bigger things will start to unfold, and you'll start to, you start with something like, you know what, I don't, getting angry at people who in traffic, that's so dumb, well, who cares? And it's no longer part of your story. I experienced that. I used to be somebody who was always angry in traffic, and I would always attract, of course, people that would cut me off and do shitty things. And then I stopped caring. I just said, you know what, I'm done with that. I didn't need to do anything differently. I didn't need to change. Because in fact, the things that I really wanted to change, I still had problems with. I still had addiction issues. I still had codependency issues. I still was doing shit that wasn't right, but I gave up being angry in traffic years and years ago. Because I didn't want it to be part of my story, because my dad was like that. He probably still is. I didn't want to be like that. Because I'm not like that inherently. That's my point. There's an inherent innocence in all of you, and you can choose at any point to reconnect with that version of yourself, because it's always there. It's never changed. The only thing in the way is the story. And once you understand that, the rest becomes easy. So I hope this video helps. I hope that you understand my intention to give you guys some tips, some wisdom, I hope, to get to a place where you feel that you can move on from what has been conditioned into you from yourself and from others. So I wish you guys a happy weekend. I hope to talk to you guys soon, and I really am planning on doing much more videos this month, and so on and so on. I think I say that a lot, so maybe I should stop saying it. But in any case, I'm not going to change, because I am who I am. So that's the point, guys. You're all fine, and you got nothing to worry about. So we'll talk to you guys soon. And again, have a good weekend. Bye, guys.